Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blossoming at Home, to the Mindful Parenting series. And today I want to talk about a very interesting topic. But before, let me tell you a story. So, a couple, friends of ours, decided to get married in church. So, they are already married and they have 4 children, but they decided to go to church and do it there. So, as I said, they have 4 children, and the oldest is 4. Then the second one is 3, and then they have 18 months old twins. So, as you can imagine, their life is very busy right now, and they have a happy house. At the same time, this house sometimes can get full of screams and cries. And how often parents ask themselves what to do when my baby is crying. And we were thinking about giving them a present, and we didn't really know what to give them. And then we decided to give them this book that is called Tears and Tantrums. And it's something that we used for our daughter and for the rest of our children, but we got it when our firstborn was, I think she was around 2, but before that we got a book that is called They Were Baby, of the same author, Aletha Solter, I'm sorry if I mispronounced Solter. And we actually managed to visit her in her home in California. Yes, it says here, author of Their Were Baby. And Their Were Baby we got when our baby was about 5 months old. And that was one of the best books I've ever read. One of the best books. And it says what to do when babies and children cry. And that's a very, very good question. And this book really can help. And Their Were Baby. Their Were Baby was first, and I think it really helped us. And then after our daughter was about 2, we got Tears and Tantrums. It's such an interesting topic because Solter's position on it is very different from what we hear often. And let me tell you that our oldest was born in 2009, and even so now it's 2026, and still till today this method of what Dr. Solter is talking about is very controversial, but it does give you a different viewpoint on this issue. Let's call it an issue, crying. But what I like about it, that the baby is never left alone to cry, which was very popular at some stage when babies were left to put themselves to sleep and they were crying alone. And this is the opposite of leaving your child to cry alone. It is very compassionate approach to crying, compassionate approach to tantrums, to stress that babies go through, that young children go through, because we think we don't our life is full of stress, but our children, our babies especially, they have no stress. They are born to this perfect world, everything is given to them, they are taken care of, they're fed, they're changed, they have nothing to worry about. At the same time, they go through a certain amount of stress in their lives. Let's say the birth was long, or a baby had heard a loud noise and didn't know what it was. The mom was gone to visit the doctor for 2 hours, and the baby didn't know where she was. All of those little things that we don't consider, that we don't think babies experience, and then because they cannot tell us, oh mom, you were gone and I was really scared and now I feel upset, they only can cry. And we as adults, imagine a situation when a friend of yours come to you and says, oh, I really had a bad day, this and that happened, and you would just tell her, please eat a piece of cake Forget about the worries. So that's often what we do with our babies when they are little, and then they try to communicate to us, and they cannot communicate verbally. Their way of communication is crying. We often stuff them with food, with breasts, which is food, or with a pacifier, or we give them some blanket to suck on, or a thumb to suck on, something to comfort them, or we start shaking them and trying to calm them down. But sometimes it is very, very important, and I want to stress that, and Dr. Solter stresses it a lot in her book, to make sure that your baby is not in pain, not hungry. So all those needs, basic needs, are met. And then you just sit and listen to your crying baby, and you listen compassionately. And I'm telling you, it's hard. It's not easy, because everything inside you, or inside me, was like my grandmother was like in my head telling me, come on, take the baby, comfort her somehow. It is not easy, but it is very, very rewarding when you, with loving attention, paying attention to your baby while she or he is telling you her story. And sometimes when, for example, you had to go to the doctor appointment, and the baby stayed with your partner, with somebody who came to help you, and this person said the baby was perfectly fine, she didn't cry, or he didn't cry, it was perfect. But then after they leave, or you stay with the baby starts crying. And that's their way of telling you, Mom, I was scared, I didn't know where you were. So it could be that the baby didn't feel safe to cry with the other person, or whatever it is. But they are learning, they are letting out their stress. They are getting unheard. So if they were heard, they are now in this moment when they're crying. And again, you have to check if they're not hungry or wet or tired, all those things. And then you can sit down with your baby and pay close attention to her, to him, and listen to her troubles, because babies also have emotions, feelings. They can get stressed, and the only way to communicate with us is crying, because they don't know how to talk. And sometimes toddlers that did learn talking, or older children, 4-5 years of age, they know how to talk, but they still cannot explain their emotions. It's very hard for a 4-year-old child tell you a whole story. I had a fight with my friend in the kindergarten, and he took my toy, and then I felt very upset. They don't know how to communicate those emotions yet, but they might throw a tantrum. They might express the emotions in a different way. And I really, really swear by this book. Is a really, really good book. If you're a young parent with young children that cry a lot, or don't cry, which sometimes can be also a problem, because sometimes people say, I have a perfect baby, but the only problem, she wakes up every half an hour at night and she wants to nurse. Or I have a perfect baby, but she sucks her thumb, or all of those things. So we want to bring up our children healthy and in a safe environment where they feel they can communicate to us what they feel, they can share with us what they feel. And then as they grow, as they become older and become teenagers, and that's the moment when you really want them to trust you, to come to you and share their feelings. Because they, on some emotional level, would remember that you were this person that were paying attention to them when they felt they were stressed, and you were the one being there for them. And sometimes it takes only 20 minutes to sit down with your baby and pay full attention to your baby, but it's worth it. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have an experience, or maybe you already read this book, or any other suggestions, share please in the comments below, and I will at some stage I will put the link to this book but it's easy to find. Tears and Tantrums. I will put the link to this book. You have a nice day, and I will see you soon.